I'm just going to dive straight in today. I love money. I really do. Now, did anyone here get triggered by that sentence? Just out of curiosity. It's one of those funny things where I find sometimes in, working with a lot of spiritual people and, people who are on this path of planetary ascension and helping people awaken, when we start bringing in conversations about money, there's a little bit of resistance that can come in from that particular space. So I find that, it's really important to, as we're going on this spiritual journey, to actually start unraveling some of these concepts that we have around money, because money is actually spiritual. And I know there's a lot of people that would, very strongly disagree with that concept, but just bear with me and let me explain why. So this is how I view the world, right? Now, whether you choose to take it or not, that's up to you. I'm going to share with you my perspective today, and you can decide if you want to adopt it. Keeping in mind that all beliefs are a choice, and the constructs that you choose to live in this earth are also your choice. Right? The moment that you recognize that, you can actually choose which beliefs serve you, which ones don't, and how you actually want to live on this planet. So, I used to be of this, mentality that money and spirituality had to be separate. And this idea came from years and years of, just conditioning and things that my parents told me and books that I'd read. And, my background is actually from India. So the typical, stereotypical Indian concept around money is that the spiritual teachers and mentors of this world have to live a very simple, humble life where they have to renounce all their material possessions. They wear, possessions, and they wear this like orange, garment that you see with all the Indian gurus, and then they rely on people's donations, and that's how they live, which is great. If you want to do that, you want the monk sort of lifestyle, there's nothing wrong with that. But then I also came to this understanding, or I guess this questioning, because I do a lot of questioning in my life. And the questioning that I came to was, if I, and I'm talking personally just about me here, if I want to create massive change and massive impact for this society, how am I going to do that without money? How much time will it take? What sort of lifestyle do I need to live? And am I really helping the people in the way that best serves me and them? Now, this took, I'd say, years of like unraveling for me to get to this point where I am today, where I had to get so comfortable with money, not because I'm, I don't sit around buying like Gucci clothes and stuff every weekend and that sort of thing. But I look at money as a tool that allows me to help people. So a few years ago, for those of you that know a little bit about my journey, I've had a number of different transitions in my business, in the way that I've operated and things that have happened. And it hasn't always been easy. If you guys are sitting there thinking, oh, Eesha has this epic business and she's just like flown from the ground from, day one and everything's all peachy, I can tell you right now that you're very, very wrong. I have been through so many ups and downs in my business. And one of the key turning points for me was actually about, I think it was a little over 2 years ago. And I was sitting, I'd gone upstairs to see my dad, and I was just crying because I was at this inflection point where my business wasn't profiting. I wasn't making any money. I wasn't even living. I hadn't paid myself a wage in like 2 years, I think. My business was actually doing really bad. And I had given away a lot of stuff for free. I'd given away a lot of stuff by donation. And then when I started charging, I pissed off a lot of people, because people literally stormed out of my studio saying how ungrateful I was because I'd suddenly started charging for classes that were previously free or by donation. And people didn't understand the costings that were involved to actually hold such a space, and everything that I had to do behind the scenes. And so I was feeling undervalued. I was feeling quite lost. I was feeling like I couldn't serve my community. Now, the worst part wasn't even the fact that I was broke and living with my parents. The worst part was that I wasn't able to help people, because I knew that in that moment, if I shut down my studio and walked away and went back to my 9-to-5 high-paying engineering job that I could very easily do if I wanted to, if I went to that lifestyle, I wouldn't be serving my community in the way that they needed me. And I really like genuinely considered this. I sat down with the options and I was like, I could go get a job and then I could just build this on the sidelines, make it as a hobby, and that could be a way that I choose to live. And it felt so heavy. Like the thought of doing that for me, it just felt miserable. Like my soul was being sucked out of my body and squished into a box and just like unable to live. And I could not make that choice. And so the only other choice left for me to make was I had to get very comfortable with money and I had to get very comfortable with business. And so at that point, I actually hired a business mentor who helped me build my business in a way that was in alignment with myself, my mission, my vision. I invested a lot of money in that mentoring. I'm talking like it was over $30,000 a year for that program, which at that time was money that I didn't have, you know, like I was struggling to pay my rent. So it was a massive, massive leap of faith. And I remember the day that I signed that contract, I was like, actually, I sat on it for a week. I procrastinated and dilly-dallied, had a number of phone calls with this person back and forth over like 2 months, and then finally signed the contract. So it wasn't even a straightforward process. It was like so much back and forth and so much fear that was coming up in me. But it was actually when I sat in meditation that I just kept getting this message from my guides. They were like, you have to sign up with her. You have to work with her. She has a piece of the puzzle for you that you really need. And so with the $30,000 that I didn't have, I signed up to this mentoring program and I paid for the first week. That's as far as I got. So after I signed up for this program, you know, the universe did its magic where it started bringing me the abundance that I needed. And so in the next, I think 30 days, I made several $1,000s in sales, and just things just started moving along. And at that point I was like, can I just pay my mentor the next week? Can I just pay the next week? Can I just pay the next week? You know, I was going week to week with this. There was no like conception of me being able to ever get, you know, 12 months down the track, because 30 grand was a lot of money for me, for somebody who was running a business that was practically broke. Like I think at that point I was still in the red zone. So I was owing money to people before I, you know, got to this stage. And so I took this leap of faith, and, you know, it felt in alignment and it felt very right to me. And even though it was a massive, like huge deal for me to do that, I did it. And, you know, you fast forward 12 months down the track, I'd paid off the 30 grand and then some. I'd finally got my business to over 6 figures. But more importantly than the numbers, what happened was I was able to help people at a level of depth that I'd never been able to do before. So last year, you know, I finally set my prices to what I felt was appropriate, like actually, you know, for the value that people were getting. And what happened was the ripple effect of that was something that I hadn't even predicted. So last year I ran one of my first big events, The Awakening, my 2-day fabulous experience, which if you guys ever get a chance to go, I highly recommend it. And after that event, a small handful of people were invited to join my Origin Activation practitioner training. Now, when I set my prices according to what the program was actually worth, rather than me getting into all the fears of can they afford it, can they not, should I just lower my prices? I was like, no, this is my price. I'm sticking to it. And I know the program is worth more than that. Like I knew that from day one, right? So what happened was the people that signed up, they actually then came into the same flow as me. One of the girls who signed up after that event was a single mom, like had all this stuff going on. I've shared her story quite a few times now. She ended up manifesting $10,000 within a couple of days of signing that contract. So what that showed me was that when I actually really anchored and really stood for and acted on the things that felt right, and I got away from my fears and I got away from those belief systems and actually started charging my worth, the people that stepped into my field, they also stepped into abundance. So that ripple effect has gone down now from my clients to their clients to their, you know, like it's just had this massive effect on my whole community. But I had to be the first one to first invest in myself, because when I invested in myself, I entered that money flow, that stream of abundance, because the outflow is just as important as your inflow. So when I started investing in myself at that higher capacity, the inflow came in to back that, and that ripple effect impacted all my clients to the point where my clients now manifest lots of money. I'm sure Mike here, who's in the group, can have testify to that as well, because he also made 10 grand just a few weeks ago through one of the sessions that we did. So So what I want to share with you today is actually about how money works and why it's so important. Yeah, there you go, 10K trades. So Michael paid 15,000 for the program. 4 months in, he manifested $10,000. Right? The program pays itself off. Like, from that perspective, it's very obvious. But it's more than that. And what I want to teach you guys is actually the importance of the money flows that you're in, and also the beliefs that are getting in the way of that. For about, I'd say, the better part of this year, I've been very acutely investigating the frequency of money. And when I say that, I mean I've been actually sitting and meditating on the frequency of money, because I realized at some point towards the start of this year that, on some level I've already known this, it's that everything has a frequency. But the question that I asked myself was, what is the frequency of money? And I actually wanted to know that very specific energy flow, because it's one that impacts everyone. Like, there are so few people on this planet who are not in some way, shape, or form connected to money, right? So it's a universal energy flow that somehow touches every single person on this planet. Now, I know there's a lot of constructs around control systems and banking, and I'm not going to get too far into that today because I just don't think it's that important. What's important is for you to know that this money flow is affecting each and every one of you, and the capacity to which you allow yourself to receive that is a game changer in how you actually live your life, and more importantly, how you serve the world, right? So for those of you that are, currently, maybe some of you are struggling. I don't know where everyone's at financially, but even for those of you that are in a position where you might be comfortable, but you're always just living week to week or month to month, I want you to start expanding your awareness around the frequency of money. Because once you understand the frequency of money, and that you understand that it's just the flow, when you open up that flow, your inflow and your outflow can expand magnificently. The way that I experienced this wasn't actually through receiving money. It was, funnily enough, through spending money. So each time I spent money on myself and I invested in things that felt in alignment, and that's key, by the way, that the alignment part is really actually quite vital here. When you invest in yourself in a way that feels in alignment, it means that you're telling the universe that you trust yourself, that you love yourself, and that you're ready for it to back you. So what happens then, just like with Jess and Mike, they took actions based on things that felt in alignment, and they trusted and surrendered to the universe. And then the universe just went, here you go. And it just handed them the money. It just gave it to them, So I think, today is really about getting you guys to think about, what is your relationship with money, and are you making decisions based on the resources that you have, or are you making decisions based on your alignment and allowing the resources to show up? Because in my experience, I can tell you time and time and time again, the resources always show up. Money is just, it's a bit of a ridiculous concept to me now. I know how this sounds, but honestly, for me, I've gotten to the point where manifesting cars and houses and stuff is freaking child's play. I'm anyone can do that. What I care about is, how do I change the whole freaking world, and how much money do I need to do that? Which is a lot, by the way. It's a freaking ton, right? The other thing I want to share with you is last year I was, again, going through some different experiences with money and manifesting in abundance. And I went to the UK, and for anyone who's been to Ireland, it has a very unique energy, and they're very quite embedded in their folklore, and particularly their stories around leprechauns. Now, what are leprechauns famous for? They're famous for keeping gold. But the one thing that I learned, and this was such a beautiful, deep journey for me in Ireland, I was only there for about 4 days, and I learned so much. Leprechauns, they're guardians of money. They don't actually keep the money and use the money, they just guard it. And when somebody tries to steal the money, they get punished, right? Because the leprechauns understand that the money doesn't belong to anyone. So when I have money in my bank account, I don't feel like it's mine. I feel like I have been graciously gifted this money so that I can do amazing things with it, and I feel a sense of responsibility around that. I feel a sense of custodianship. The same way that some of you might feel towards our earth, our land, I feel that towards money, because I feel like when I get gifted this currency, this frequency, it brings me choice. it brings me the capacity to actually create change in a much bigger way than if I didn't have it. And that to me is a gift that every day, I really, have made a very conscious effort to allow myself to receive this flow of money so that I can do the best possible thing in the world with it. Now, I think we can all agree that there's a lot of money in the world that's in the hands of the wrong people. The amount of money in the world isn't going to change. In fact, this whole ridiculous, stupid system that we're in right now is that the government can just print money and just create money out of thin air. Also, if you're into the cryptocurrency space, you can create currency out of thin air right now. It is meaningless in that sense. But at the same time, it gives you the capacity and the freedom to do whatever you want. I have sat in rooms where I have watched people make millions of dollars in currency, oh, she's gone. And this currency is, it allows us to have that capacity to create change in this world. So a lot of you, that are sitting in this space right now, you're light workers, you're star seeds, you have a mission and you have a particular role to play on this planet. And a lot of you are struggling with money because there's a discord between what is supposed to be spiritual and what is supposed to be material. Now, when you understand that the material and the spiritual world on planet Earth were actually designed to be one, that unification of that allows you to receive money freely, knowing that you're going to direct it in a very heart-centered way so that you can create massive change and impact in this world. Who's resonating with that? Yeah. So this stuff really excites me, and I know for some people it can be quite triggering, because when you get a spiritual mentor that jumps online to a group of people and says, hey guys, we have to talk about money, for some people that's like, it feels incongruent. It can feel like it's out of vibration. And trust me guys, I get all the judgment in the freaking world. You should see the stuff people post on my Facebook ads when I run them. I get all sorts of brutal rubbish from just people who don't understand that everything is one. Because when you truly understand that everything is one, guess what? Money's a part of that. Money's part of that currency, and we've created it. We as humans have created the money system, right? So yeah, arts definitely has a huge thing about that as well. And money, is a currency that we have decided to live in so that we can basically do what we want in this world. It's an exchange system. Now, I truly, truly believe, and I feel, I see it so clearly, that eventually down the track, when the planet is ascended, money is going to become redundant. Even like cryptos and stuff, everyone's like, crypto is like the new world order of money. And I'm like, yeah, cool, but that's still just a stepping stone, right? Because at the end of the day, when everyone is actually in their heart frequency, the concept of exchange becomes redundant. Like, why would I require something from you in order to give you something when I can just give you something for free and it's coming from my heart? So I get that aspect of spirituality very, very deeply. But here's the thing, right? The world that we live in right now, the majority of people don't operate from that frequency. So if you're that person that wants to constantly give from the heart and constantly just do things for people, but other people aren't doing that and that natural harmony isn't there, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up just being really poor and you can't have any impact in the world. Right? And I know plenty of people who are in that boat, and what happens is they end up getting burnt out and they end up self-sacrificing, and at the end of the day, it just doesn't do anyone any good. Definitely service first servant. That's a very big one. So, it's about getting comfortable with what actually is, knowing that what is going to change. So for those of you that are feeling to, build businesses or help people or offer your services, I cannot stress more the importance of, at this time, working through flows that allow you to receive money. How each of you do that is going to be different, because the way that it feels in integrity for you will be different for everyone, right? This includes like price points and whether you do donation based or, you know what I mean? Like, you really have to feel into what spirit is asking of you. And I know people who operate on a donation basis completely, and they're quite abundant. They always receive all the money that they need. There's no poverty, and so I know people who operate in that stream. And then I also know people who are like, in businesses that make $1 million a month who are helping large amounts of people. So I see all ends of that spectrum, and these people are all in my networks, and they've showed me that there are so many different ways to do this. But they've also showed me that you don't need to stick to one prescription of what is right. And I'm really inviting you to start, investigating what feels true for you. I found it very, very challenging for me when I had to, I was seeing visions of myself on these massive stages, working with thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people I'm talking stages like Oprah and stuff like that. And I realized that for me to get there, I would need to be a custodian of a very large amount of money. I'm talking billions of dollars here. I see that in my reality, just it feels so natural and normal to me. But I also don't feel like it's mine, and I also feel like it's something that it'll just happen when the timing is right. And then when I'm able to receive that large volume of money, I'll be able to direct it in a way that actually gives the power back to the people, because it's massive. At the end of the day, what I'm going to do with all of that money is I'm going to direct it into projects that give it back to people. Because right now, the people that are hoarding all the money in the world, they're keeping it for themselves, and they're putting control systems in place. And there's just a lot of negative energy in those spaces. And I'm so aware of it. So when I went into all these meditation spaces earlier this year, and I actually, I met the frequency of money, an actual frequency and energy. And I communicate with this energy. And I've seen how beings on this planet have tried to truncate those frequencies for all of humanity. And there's massive control plays at hand here, which, again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want you guys to divert your attention into those flows. But I'm aware of it, and I see it, and I'm very mindful of that. And I want you guys to start getting very clear in your beliefs and your patterns around money. So if you've grown up thinking that you can't have money, or that you have to give your gifts away for free, I strongly ask you to challenge that. Because at the end of the day, if you keep your eye on the impact and the change, then all you have to do is ask, how am I going to make that happen? And if your how includes charging fairly for your services, then please, by all means, do that. And don't be afraid to do it. Because I know that when you charge what you're worth, that your clients, just like my clients have, will step into a flow of abundance that supports you and them and allows everyone to receive what they need to receive. Because that is how beautiful our universe is. And it is unconditionally giving. It is unconditionally loving. And if that's the pathway that is in resonance for you, it will be in alignment for both you and the people that you work with. I've seen this over and over again. Is this landing? Yeah. Beautiful. I see a few thumbs up there. So today I just want to take you guys on a little bit of a journey, just to understand your relationship with money. And maybe we can shift that today, for some of you, and maybe you can get out into the world and start having a different impact. Whatever you take from this is on you, and just know that whatever you choose to adopt is always a choice. I think the first thing is to remember that how you choose to relate to money is up to you, and that if you choose to today, you can release any of the rubbish that you've been taught when you were younger, and you can actually just have a clean slate. Who's excited by that? Yes. I love it. Cool. All right, let's do this. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling out. And it's up to you whether you want to sit or lay down for this one. It's going to be a fairly gentle process today, nothing too overly hectic. Let's begin by taking a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Let your body completely relax. Just take a few breaths in as you exhale, release any tension. And then breathing in deep into the body. As you exhale, releasing any tension. Manifestations happen from a calm frequency. It's always so important to come back to center before we do this work. Let's begin by bringing your awareness to your heart center. As you breathe in through the nose, feel that beautiful light in your heart space. Allow your heart star to radiate strong and bright out from the center of your heart through your whole body. Your next in-breath, breathe from your heart down to the heart of Gaia. From the earth, breathe that supportive, nourishing, nurturing energy up through the feet into your heart. Let yourself receive that feminine touch. And from your heart, breathe up through the crown. Feel yourself connecting through the great central sun out to source. And feel that energy pouring in through the crown, coming back into your heart. Just take a moment to feel in your heart the merged energy of Source, Earth, your inner heart flame, all together. These energies are supporting and guiding you in your connection, in your capacity to be human, and allowing you to receive the inflows of your higher, multidimensional soul aspects, all connected through the one heart, one soul. Just feel that expanding out through the heart space. Now visualize golden light streaming in through the crown, flowing into your heart. And feel that light ballooning outwards from the center of your heart, out and around your energy field. Flowing up through the crown, through the soul star, down and around the energy field, coming back up through your earth star into your heart. Now bring your awareness to your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is connected to all things money, abundance, creativity. Visualize a white water lily of light sitting in that space. Feel that light expanding outwards. Now bring your awareness to your heart center. Visualize a white rose of light. See or feel this light radiating out from the heart. Now bring your awareness to your third eye. See a white diamond of light opening out through the pineal. Allow that light to radiate strong and bright. Once all three whites are shining bright, the white water lily in your sacral, the white rose in your heart, and the white diamond in your third eye, allow all of your chakras now to open up from soul star to earth star. Let them inhale this beautiful white light. See a pillar of white light flowing through the crown, down into the earth. And now imagine yourself standing in a wide pillar of light, streaming love light from source to earth. Take a few breaths here as we prepare for the next phase. And slowly we're bringing in the intention, the awareness to open up our ability, our capacity to receive a larger flow of money. The frequency of abundance is gold. Imagine that this gold light is now raining all around you, all through you, moving through each and every one of your cells in your body. And if there are any parts of you, maybe physically or in your energy field, that are resisting to receive this energy, become mindful and aware throughout this activation. Have the intention for any blockages to be cleared so that you can now step fully into your true abundant alignment with Source, in the full capacity to serve in divine service to all of humanity. May we receive the frequency and the highest flow through our being that allows us to serve Gaia, Ascension, and all of humanity. May we raise our frequency so that we can raise the frequency of others, always in the highest flow and alignment for all involved. We're just going to sit for a little while in this frequency. Just allow yourself to receive that transmission. Keep visualizing that golden light coming in around you. If you can't see it, that's okay. Just trust that the frequency is there that your intention is incredibly powerful, and that in this moment you are opening yourself to fully receive all support, all resources, all finances, everything you need to step into your highest purpose on this planet, right here, right now, for the good of all. I'm just going to breathe here for a while. Start taking some deep breaths into the body and really take a few moments just to connect into the earth, to really anchor in this frequency through the body. Imagine that you have roots coming out from your feet and from the base of your spine. You're connecting this frequency deep into the earth. Taking in some deep breaths in through the nose, exhaling out. Gently bringing your awareness back into your body. Just let yourself feel that shift in frequency that you've received today. All that energy that's been flowing through. Just allow that to settle within your body. Feel it flowing into the earth. So once you're back, just give me a quick comment in the chat box. Let me know how you're doing. Awesome. Cool. So for the newbies in the group today, what we normally do is we have a little bit of time for integration. And the integration is a really important part of these activations. That's okay, Dean. If you are watching the replay, I suggest that you integrate through journaling, because that's a really great way of just helping you to really bring into the body what we've just done. For those of you that are on the call today, we're going to go into some rooms. We're going to have a few minutes just to share the experience. And I find that the talking to somebody else about it and also hearing their experience is a really valuable part of this journey. When we have these experiences, particularly for those of you that are quite new to the group, what happens is you have this experience and it's a really expansive experience in your consciousness. And then what happens is sometimes it's like when you have a dream, you wake up and you forget about it. Right? So the part where we actually connect with each other and we talk about this is actually just as important as being in part of the activation. So whether you're doing it in the group or whether you're watching it online, I suggest you do take some time just to integrate the process to make sure that you've really solidified this. So for those of you that are sticking around in the group, that's okay, Dimple. Great to have you on here. Dylan, that's cool. And the rest of you, we're just going to have a few moments. You can have some time chatting with each other, integrate the process, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes, okay? Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Yeah, definitely keen to see what happens for you guys. I've actually got a little bit of homework for you guys on this one. So what I would love is for you guys to just be more mindful of what you're receiving the next week. So I want you guys to post in the group basically anything that you receive that's like unexpected. So I don't, like obviously have gratitude for, your income and stuff like that as well. But often when we do these sorts of activations, people end up manifesting unexpected things. And it also doesn't always have to be directly in money. Because for some of you, you may be manifesting things in other ways. Like you may, I don't know, for example, somebody looks after your kids for free and that then allows you to do something, or, like there's lots of ways that you can receive, and that frequency of abundance is something that you can just be more mindful and more grateful of. Good stuff. What you said at the start was quite enlightening for me. If I have more abundance and money, then others will lift in order to meet that. Yeah, what happens is I just don't buy into people's stories anymore. Because, I swear to God, the number of people that come to me and say, Eesha, I don't have money. And I'm like, it's not even an issue for me. I'm like, if you want to do my program, I know that you'll manifest the money to do it. So I haven't discounted services. I've never I don't do free stuff because I feel sorry for people, because actually it disempowers them. I see each and every one of you as perfectly capable of stepping into alignment and manifesting what you need in order to do what you need to do. So when it comes to people working with me, I just don't buy into their stuff, because I see you all as capable, and I see you all as whole, and I see you all as very expansive beings that can do anything. So why would I believe those rubbish stories that people come to me with when they say, I don't have money, I don't have time, I don't have to ask my partner, whatever excuses people make? I just look at all of that and I go, yeah, cool, you can do better than that. So when I hold people in that alignment, what happens is they actually step up. And when they step up, guess what? Everything manifests. And then they're like, oh, Eesha, guess what? I made all this money. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I kind of saw that coming. So yeah, it's just how I work. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting way of thinking about it. And if you can follow that on for your clients as well, for those of you that have businesses, this is actually, we're going to talk about this. For those of you that are doing the vibrational business event in August, we go into this into a lot of detail, but basically it's about the frame that you hold for people. Because if you hold the frame that everybody's whole, whether you're applying it to business or health or whatever, you hold them in that light that they're already healed, they're already rich, they're already where they want to be. When you hold that frame for them, they just step into it. So for me, I never compromise myself, my services, my prices, nothing, because I know that everyone is capable of getting to that point. And they actually do. I've seen people rise from nothing to, people have literally won the lottery to attend my training courses, So I look at that and I'm like, yeah, cool. You'll find a way. And it's not my problem to figure it out. If you're meant to work with me, the universe will figure it out. So actually one of my, I think in 2017, when I was first pilot testing my energy healing course, it was very low price back then. But one of the guys wanted to do the program, and he was like, I don't have the money. And he legitimately didn't have the money. So I just said to him, I was like, just set the intention, tell the universe you really want to be there. And he literally won the lotto. That was the cost of the training program. And he calls me 3 days later and says, hey, Eesha, I'm in. And he paid me in full. So I was like, all right, there you go. So I didn't have to compromise. He didn't have to compromise. And the universe just worked it out, So it's like, yeah, I see this stuff all the time. Anything can happen. Anything is possible. Just let yourself receive and you'll be surprised what you can do. It's pretty amazing stuff. It is very exciting. So yeah, I suppose that just about wraps up today. That was fun, guys. That was cool. Definitely do that one again during the week, hey? And post in the group about what you receive. Post in the group about anything that you receive, any unexpected money, any unexpected help, any unexpected abundance. And, when you post in the group, what that does is we actually amplify for each other as well. So I don't care how big or small, it's not a competition. If somebody gives you a free coffee, post it in the group, right? Just let's amplify this and let's keep that momentum going for the week, yeah? Can we do that? Awesome. All right, guys, lots of love to you all. Remember, if you have any questions, you can post them in the thread that's going to go up today. I'll come in and answer those on Monday, and the rest of you, I'll see you next week. Have an amazing weekend. Bye.